I'm going to be testing out these
water markers.
Ooh. Hey, here I am and welcome back. Today is a continuation of the action haul that I did a few weeks ago. In today's installment of the action haul, I'm going to be testing out these
Water markers
that came in at $12.49. I quite like this little display that they've got. This box is quite nice. Got a little shiny part, can you see? Let's see. Water-based ink, 2 tips, brush and fine. New recycled plastic markers. Writing length, 800 meters. Shy of a kilometer. The brand is Deco Time. We've got all of the names and numbers of the markers here on the side.
Dark forest green, dark olive,
eye of the tiger, green sage, grayish green.
I'm going to write them down as I swatch them. I'm really excited to use these because I've never used them before. Let's open this. Ooh. The only thing I wish is that it had like a cover on this, like a lid, which it does not. So these can easily just fall out, look. So I've got myself a piece of paper here to test on. This is Canson 140 pound watercolor paper, cold pressed, so it's quite smooth. I'm going to work my way around. As you can see, we have a brush end and a fine end. Eye of the tiger. I like that, cool name. Just notice, so at a glance, you can see the fine liner has a grey line and the lid is a bit slimmer, whereas the brush side has no grey line. I quite like how they feel. I would say so far they correspond with the colours. Is it normal that I write away from myself like this? Or do other people do that? Oh, I can't get the lid off this one. Oh, gosh, there we go. What I have noticed so far is the darker colors have a much finer bullet nib than the lighter colors. See what I mean? Like dark forest is very fine, pine forest is fine, and then you have pastel, and the lighter ones are much more kind of spread out. Warm old pink. Okay, so we have our colors, and we also have this, the colorless blender, which is supposed to blend out the colors, I presume, which it does a somewhat okay job at. Let's see if we can blend them together to get a softer edge. Oh, they're already blending themselves, actually, which was unexpected. It's all quite muddy, don't really like that. So, what I tried to do was use a water brush, which I think does a much better job at blending that out, and it looks much more like watercolor, which is what I like. I think it seems to give a nicer kind of feel. So I will be using my water brush as the blender and the colors. Okay, I'm doing this in the studio, but I wanted to keep it an urban sketch. So here we have a photo that I took last year in Park Güell in Barcelona. The whole park was designed by the architect Gaudi. So I'm going to do 2 of these little houses, this one on the left, and then this one with the spire on the right. So I'm going to use this grey warm as my sketcher instead of using a pencil. Oh, I'm always trying to put that on the top. I'm going to have my highest point over here, which is that spire, marking some things out. These are all just like little marks. So I know where I want to join my lines up, and I've not made any full commitments yet. Now I'm just doing my lines quite severe, and it's going to look childish to start with, I think. It will all come together in the end. It doesn't need to look exact. That's the style and the charm. Just roughly getting these shapes in. Okay, that is some sort of the basic shape. So that's my basic outline. I'm going to use this hazel wood. I think this looks like the lightest color. I like the sound of these pens, it's quite nice. I think this would be way too bulky to take out with you if you're urban sketching somewhere. Blend this out with water. Aruba. Keep pulling off the wrong side. I keep trying to put it on the lid. Ooh. Let's just try with the blender, just again. Let's just try, give it a chance. Another thing, it seems to keep the color of the last thing you blended. So you see, it's left a bit of red in there. No, don't like it. That will not get used. We will use this instead. I can pick some color up with this. So I can use that to dot around to add more of that kind of brick texture. It's a little bit more subtle. What about these? Warm pink, I think. Yeah, like that. We need kind of a darker color. Oh, lovely that. Warm green. It is quite nice that it holds its form but still blends out. Quite like that. It's already given me like a darker tone and a lighter tone while still keeping a bit of its structure. Warm caramel. Whoa, it's very bright. It does look very bright, so I'm going to encourage it with a lot of water to just blend out. Oh, what colour is this building? Yellow. Canary yellow. Okay, let's go for that. Actually, I'm going to add a bit of this yellow onto there. That's good. That shows me where the sun is, like that. Light blue. I'm trying to use as many colours as I can. Try to put that on the end again. It's the wrong side as well. So hope that will blend out to be kind of like a pavementy colour. Again, I'm not going for realism, just a vibe. I'm going to take pine, some shadow into here, maybe a little bit into this one too, and let's blend. Oh, it's picking up the paper quite a lot there now. Just let that dry. I'm aware now that I'm just using these as a substitute for watercolors. And if you don't have a blending brush, I don't know what I would do, to be honest. Yeah, I don't know in what other circumstances I would use these, in what other way. French raspberry again, because then that will help tie everything together. Oh, it's gone really blendy, that one. Let's add some windows. I don't want to use black, so I'm using this Prussian blue. Maybe they'll blend together themselves. Let's test that out, see if they do. No, they have blended together themselves a little bit. It's quite nice. Midi sky for this kind of a checkerboard look. A bit of baby blue. These windows on this side seem to have a brown frame and these ones white. Just let's do some dark wood. Bullet tip end. There's cobbles down here. Put more water on that and let it do its thing. What should I use for shadow coming this way? Maybe midi sky. I hope that's going to blend. But what about shadows on the building? Should I try pale blue light? So I'm going to try and do a little bit of a background, just with the lighter colours. I don't want it to take away from everything else that's going on. A generic background, which I can maybe blur out after. Just to give the idea that something else is going on back there. And I'm going to let that blend down. Oh, a bit of the French raspberries got involved, but that's all right. I'm going to let that dry, I think, and then we'll see where we're at. Jelly roll pen. I'm just going to add in the details on these. What are they? Now I'm going to take a 0.1 black fine liner and I'm going to go over everything again. Now, I'm not following exactly the same lines as I did before. I'm just kind of using them as a guide. I'm quite happy to make changes where it's needed. I feel like this is bringing everything together and making it look more my style. I keep looking back at the reference just to see if there's anything that I've missed. I don't mind if some of these lines go inside where I've coloured or if they are outside of where I've coloured. I'm just outlining a couple of the bricks just to highlight how random and ununiformed they are. And a little bit of cross-hatching just to deepen the shadows. So there you have my test of the watermarkers from Action. I enjoyed it. I liked the experience. I wouldn't take these out with me though because they're far too bulky. But I think I would definitely consider using these as a way of adding some more contrast and definition to some sketches that I have already done. Maybe if I sketch outside, when I come back and look at it at home, I think, oh, it needs a little bit more something. I could use these as a quick fix. I like that they blend out with the water brush. Even the browns, where I thought I had maybe gone too heavy, I think they've blended out quite nicely over time. This is what I created with 50 aqua markers from Action. Head on down to the comments and let me know if you've used aqua markers. See you in the next video. Bye.